What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and I do advise you to go and watch yesterday's video if you have not already, because I will not be going through all the markings I already have on my screen, such as these monthly rejection block levels. So yeah, let's get straight into things. We're going to start on the dollar, on daily of course, and you can see how we had a nice up close day just as anticipated, closing above Friday. You can see we're starting to press up towards that daily liquidity void, and you'll also see that we managed to find support on this level, which I brought our attention to yesterday. So what is this level? This is a volume imbalance, and you'll see that we traded through it and closed quite high above it on Friday. So I was looking at this level now to provide support to send price higher, and that's exactly what we saw happen today. So let's drop down to the 4 hour, and you'll see how price made its way down lower, respecting that 50% level before expanding on the news release, which was also nice to see. It was quite consolidated in terms of the delivery. You can see there's a lot of wicks, but I'm not really surprised. And yeah, let's drop down to the 1 hour, and you'll see I've got my daily dividers. And now I'm just watching this bullish order block to see can it provide support. So again, here's these levels. We came down, respecting this bullish order block. We didn't quite take out that low, which was interesting. But moving into the new day, I do believe that dollar's still going to attempt to try and press on higher to reach this target of this daily liquidity void up here. What I am going to do is I'm going to draw out this whole order block right here. I'm going to make it black, and I want to see, can this provide support? So I'm watching the 50% level and this range in general. I want to see if it can provide support, and if it does, moving into the new day, so let's say we stay above this level, I'd be happy to expect more longs on dollar with the expectation to short on the pairs. But other than that, let's say if this just does give way, if this gives way, then and only then would I expect us to run for Monday's lows and start heading for these fair value gaps down here. But like I said, preferably I'd like to think that this can provide the support price needs to send it one more leg higher before we see any kind of reversal or retracement or consolidation at a higher point. Because generally speaking, I do believe price is attempting to try and get up here. So it'd be nice to see if it can do that tomorrow. Let's go to the 15-minute. And you'll see how we're just consolidating, and we're likely going to stay in this consolidation moving into the Asia range. You see we also gapped higher on the news. We gapped higher, ran out these stops right here. This is also a significant level now if we look at this high, because I do believe this is where we see the change in state of delivery in terms of, we were bearish until this point, and then we broke higher, closing above it, and I do believe this should be quite sensitive level. So let's make that orange. And I'm going to be paying close attention to this. This is the lowest I want to see price trade before we trade up there. After we trade up there, it's a whole different story, and price can do what it wants. But moving into Tuesday, that's what I want to see. And then and only then would I expect to potentially see lower prices. So that's everything. That's my expectations on dollar. Hopefully a nice setup will form. You'll see a nice setup formed here, creating the low at 7 a.m. and then large expansion, pullback into a fair value gap for potential longs. But let's now head on to GBP USD. We'll start on the daily, like so. And these red lines here are delineating levels I did bring our attention to in yesterday's video. So again, go and watch that if you have not already. And then I'm also bringing our attention to this blue line. This blue line is the 25% level of Monday's wick right there. This is the highest I want to see price trade before sending price lower to try and reach towards the south side liquidity. Now, this does look like quite a stretch for price. I'm not sure if it's going to get all the way down there. We do have this wick range as well that we can trade into. But generally speaking, obviously, if I'm wanting higher dollar, I want to see some kind of lower pound. So that's why I have this marked out as a potential draw. If we drop down to the 4 hour, you'll see price, how it swung around that 50% level off the range I draw our attention to. And then since then, I've traded lower. What you'll notice is we haven't taken out this low, but Euro has taken out that low. And I do believe dollar's taken out the equivalent high. So it does look like pound may have some catching up to do. And we may see that with the unemployment rate at 2 a.m. So definitely something to consider. If we drop down to the 1 hour, you'll see that this blue level lines up with this bearish order block. Again, we should be seeing bearish PD arrays support price in terms of showing resistance to price. So I'm watching this this bearish order block the same way I'm watching that bullish order block on dollar. I want to see, can it provide resistance and help us send price lower to run for these lows here and then down here. So there are two targets in general that I want to see pound trade into before seeing any kind of reversal, consolidation or retracement. So Hope that all makes sense. Let's go to the 15-minute. You can see we're just kind of consolidating at this level, but generally speaking, price shouldn't need to come back above here if we're going to be heading lower. If it does, so be it. I would see that as a shift in market if we took out this high, and then and only then would I expect these two highs to get ran, so Monday's high. But I don't believe that will happen so long as this high stays intact. But I do believe these relative equal highs that formed today after Monday's high, I do believe this may get targeted on Wednesday, but we'll speak about that later in the week. So that's everything on pound. I hope that all makes sense. But generally speaking, I'd like to think that we can see some kind of Judas swing, maybe during Asia or just in the start of London, for us to look for shorting opportunities to run for this sell side liquidity here and potentially here, depending on how overzealous price wants to get. One thing I will bring our attention to as well, just because price may not want to get all the way down there, is the 50% level of these wicks. So that's going to be consequent encroachment. Let's get that drawn out real quick. The midpoint of this wick, because like I said, because this low is such a far target for price, it's very well that price may stop in its tracks at the 50% level of that wick, which is completely fine. Let's see if there's anything on the 4 hour there. Another wick. So these are a few levels that we can keep an eye out on if price does start delivering to the downside, because we might find that we find a reversal here or whatnot. So just something to keep an eye on. Let's now finish up on Euro USD. I do already have some markings out, so let's just get rid of these. We'll go to the daily. And again, if you watched yesterday's video, you'll know I brought our attention to this weekly bearish wick I was talking about. There's a bearish range here. Definitely go and watch that if you haven't already. You can see we tapped into that just as anticipated, and what happened? We got resistance. That's what we wanted to see. Took out Friday's low, nice to see again. And then we have this massive daily fair value gap that I would like to think will get filled moving into the new day. So that's my target for price in that sense. I am looking at the range of this low, pretty much Monday's trading in general, to be honest. And the 25% level of that, I am watching that for price to turn around at as well. So let's just get a few levels marked out. We've got this level. And the reason I'm bringing our attention to these levels is because if you drop down to the lower time frames, you'll find that there is PD arrays that price should key off of to send price lower ultimately. So we will take a closer look. Let's go to the 4 hour, and you'll see our price. Look at how volume respected that range absolutely beautifully. You can see we wicked up a couple of times and then started pushing lower and eventually took out that low. Great price action there. Let's go to the 1 hour. And again, same as dollar, we've got this massive bearish order block. Now we need to see, can it provide resistance? Same thing, I want to see this. If price creates a Judas swing, I want to see it trade higher into the range of this bearish order block, and then use that to key off after send price down towards that daily fair value gap I want to see get filled. Another thing I'm watching as well is this bullish order block right here. I'm seeing this kind of like a breaker. We've got a low, a high, a low, a low. So I'm watching this again for price to key off as a level to send price lower. That's going to be the highest I want to see price trade for me to say bearish. When I say these levels, like the highest I want to see it go, I mean, if price respects this level and we see some kind of break on the lower time frames, I'm happy to go short. But if price say trades through it, I'd probably be expecting these highs to get ran and, you know, more bullish price action, because as far as I'm concerned, price shouldn't need to trade back through this level if we are to remain bearish. Once we do fill this range, it will be another story. We'll be waiting for some kind of potential midweek reversal or consolidation. But until then, I do want to see us try and fill this fair value gap as dollar presses higher towards that volume imbalance I was talking about. So I hope that all makes sense, guys. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button, hit like, drop a comment, and join the Discord. I am active in there, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.